I don't think
What you
women
got?
are raised to be marriage minded.
What was
Okay.
that? You said what?
I don't think women are raised to be marriage minded.
Why is
Not
that?
I mean, you got to think of my cultural background too. It's like I'm Hispanic, so it's like I was raised in an environment where it was normal to get married, be married for an extended amount of time or for forever when you walk into it. But that
Mm,
also comes with submission and like I was raised Catholic, so in the biblical context. So as I was coming up, it became all these new movements of, oh, women got to be independent. You got to take care of yourself. That doesn't always align with what was going on when I was little and being
right.
submissive and working to foster partnership. I don't think that's what women are looking for anymore. Now, the context of what they're looking for is different. They're looking for a man who could take care of them, who got a certain level of stature, they're looking at other things. It's not all about partnership and what being marriage minded takes.
Mm. So you think they want everything that comes with marriage without the marriage?
Exactly. I mean, and you hear that every day. You hear a whole bunch of people talk about the idea of like, we're getting married for this, or they're marrying somebody who aligns with their goals as far as their career is concerned, or I can't marry somebody if they don't align with what I'm doing over here, or people's marriages falling apart because it doesn't align with what they're trying to do or whatever that like, but that's not what being married is about.
Okay.
And
All
it
right.
can't sustain long term if that's why you do it because people change.
I agree with that. People change. What you got, Boo? What you got, Rick?
Um, what she sounded like she was conveying is that most of the times nowadays people are not being raised to think about marriage as much as for women anyway, I would say, but to be more hyper independent because a lot of people are seeing that relationships don't work, or the whole mindset of you have to be able to not not need a man, be independent, be able to do it all on your own. So yeah, it's not being raised to be in the mindset of wanting to be a wife or being married, because I don't think there's a lot of confidence that women have nowadays and men being able to be the traditional husband or even have traditional families. Most children are raised in broken homes.
Hmm.
Right.
There's more children who have step siblings than actual siblings.
True.
So,
For sure.
I mean, yeah, they're not raised to be that way. But I would also say I think that that's uh, more geared towards Western culture than the entire population of the planet. When you go to people who are not so tied to the uh, westernized Eurocentric type of thought, they're not in the same boat. Those women are being raised in a different way,
Yeah.
but that's cultural, it's economics, it's a myriad of things.
Mhm.
Just I don't. Men are raised to be providers. Men are raised to provide. And that kind of goes hand in hand with traditional views. It's like if you're not, a lot of guys are, they're not raised to be, I'm going to provide for a family. So that affects how women look at them, how they're viewed. If you're a provider, I think it would be easy to find a wife. I don't think it would be that difficult, regardless of how independent they want to be or anything of that nature. I think if you're a provider and you find a woman that's looking for a provider, it works. I think a lot of people have single mindsets and want to be married. You can't have it both ways.
I think we need to hear what Nay has to say.
Hey, I just think that we all come, like she said, like Amanda said, we all come from a different background, and it takes communication. Like the communication need to be had right off. Everybody comes from a different background. I don't even like the whole thing of being raised to get married. Why should that be our goal, to be raised to get married? You know, it's hard enough trying to be an individual. So, but to say a gender or a race is not I don't want to be raised to be with my cattle. I don't want to be raised to be this. I want to be raised to understand, you know, my feelings and everything. And then if I'm blessed to have a man to come in, we will have to, and if I have to do it again, I want to have that communication of expectations. I think love language is important. And then uh, the whole idea of communication and someone knowing what I'm expecting, because I think from what I've experienced, and I don't want to speak for every man, I haven't met every man, you know, I mean, line up and let me meet you guys. But if I wanted to, if I had to speak, the men that I spoke to think that I have dealt with only think that providing is the key and leave a lot of the task of what the other stuff doing in the house is for the woman, and they babysit their kids. So that conversation needs to be had before getting married, because just generalizing it and saying that, we're not built to be or raised up to be married, I don't want to do that anyway. So maybe that's not my goal. However, every man is different. Every female is different, you know? Somebody might have a desire to be provided for, and somebody wants to be able to work as well as he works. And then we sharing the parenting so that I can go to this meeting and you could go to this meeting. And I don't want to put my life on back burner while you do that. So every marriage is different. And I just think communication, maybe counseling beforehand would be beneficial, because I don't want to be boxed in with every other woman saying that that's my idea of it. That's my opinion. They generalize that whole conversation that we listen to. They generalize women.
Right.
She has not met me.
We all right. I think there's sometimes people don't like when a conversation is general, but we have to kind of look at demographics. We have to look at the trends. We have to look at the numbers, and so we have to speak in general terms, because we always know there's exceptions to the rule. But I don't care about the exceptions. I care about the rule. So you're saying you don't necessarily subscribe to raising women to become wives, but I would challenge you to say that what is the foundation of any great society? I want to know what everyone's answer is to that before
when I said that, I think it is because it's not just raising a woman to be a wife. A husband has value to his family. It's equal. You can't raise a woman to be a wife and then the man is insufficient in what he's supposed to do, or he's selfish, or he only thinks about himself, or he's not helping out. So it's not, I feel like there's a lot of good women that are raised to be, it's in our instincts to be natural, a lot of women to be natural caregivers, and to be easily like accommodating. Like we get these children and we don't know what their personalities are going to be, so we kick in. But I just don't believe that men want, sometimes it's focused on the woman, where women are supposed to be raised up like that. But I think it's highly important for men to be raised up that way. It has to be, even culture. I don't like culture. And I understand we live in that world that everybody is about, you know, what the woman's supposed to do, what she's supposed to do. But men need to be raised up as well to know how to do more than just provide.
So I agree, because leadership and the ability to be a successful husband or father, those are things that obviously you can't expect a woman to be the epitome of a wife and a mother, and you're not coming to the table with also fulfilling your role. I completely concur with that. I'm just going back to your statement that you don't agree with raising, because I agree with raising my son to say, when I'm instilling certain things in him, I'm doing it with the intention of, you're someone's future husband and father. I'm totally doing it with the intention of instilling in him a certain level of understanding about, hey, no one's coming to save you. And if your house ain't looking right, and if your children ain't looking right, and if your woman ain't looking right, they're looking at you. The weight of that falls on you. No, even from the standpoint of, prime example, a woman will look at another woman at times, and if she's not able to, I guess, personify or look as though she's doing okay, they're looking at her man as being the reason. But it don't work in reverse for
I
a man.
don't. I
No,
feel like
I'm
not
not.
being accountable for everything. Like even in a bad marriage, it's like why wasn't she there? Why wasn't she didn't do this? Why didn't she? I don't feel like men are held accountable. I've seen videos where
Men are definitely held accountable.
oh,
Men are
not
Absolutely.
definitely held accountable.
Yeah.
Men,
Definitely.
when your daughter's on the pole, they're not chasing down the mama. They're saying, "Where was her daddy?"
Dad. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
that
That's
part.
right.
That's
That
for
part.
sure.
And the
Thank
and
you.
the other part that slightly is upsetting me with that is to not acknowledge that is kind of like living in fantasy. Like, no, every girl who goes astray, you know what they say? Where do you think the term daddy issues comes from?
Yeah,
I mean, it
but
goes both ways
that's
because
the
you got
that's the,
daddy issues and mommy issues.
you
Like,
do,
Yeah.
but right now we're talking about fathers and men. So women, yes, same
I
thing.
mean, well, to reference your question was the foundation of society, right?
a family,
It's family. Your
fathers,
foundation,
mothers,
and yeah, it
husbands, and
is
wives.
family. But it's family, and it's also connection. It's family gives you structure. It's knowing that mom, dad, children. That's just structure. That's us working towards something for the entirety of our time here, right? But when we look at connection, we're looking at what gives that meaning. And people are not being taught to communicate love and kindness and like
Yeah.
necessary. And we're being taught like lazy love, minimal effort. Like
I can see that.
the
There's a lot
accountability is like selective accountability.
that definitely can be the case. It's just to say that you don't necessarily think you should raise someone to be a husband or a father or a mother or a wife. That's not the intention. I don't know how that helps society as a
Yeah,
whole.
I don't
If
necessarily
we
agree with that. I think that has to be like I said, because I do think family gives it structure. So I think the idea of saying like, yes, one day that's going to be a part of the natural evolution. I don't think
Yes, and maybe
that should be in its
spend
entirety.
yes, that's what I meant. I don't believe that it should be in its entirety because sometimes women, when they raise themselves to be or they're raised to be that, they lose themselves in the marriage, and there's no individuality with that. So I'm saying like raising someone just to be that is like it should be it's
That
not
shouldn't be the
just
sole focus of who that person
well,
is.
I